Hello, this is Daniel Piatek. Welcome back to Live Beyond Fear, Align with Love, The Fool's Journey, the group that to help us support each other to live our own fool's journey, the journey from wherever the heck we happen to be in life to the unfolding of the mystery of who we are in our day-to-day lives. So thank you for joining me. So, welcome to Saturday. Welcome to the weekend. I hope you're having a nice weekend. It was a beautiful day here today. So, I had something planned for today, but I decided at the last minute to change to something that was kind of just speaking to me because I just got done a little bit ago with a client session, and this cool thing came out of it. I thought I want to share this with everybody. So, living my own fool's journey, always being interested to learn more and to know more and to discover more and to take myself deeper on my own journey, living in that space of not already knowing. And hi Nadia, welcome back. So going on my own fool's journey, I feel like I'm always learning. I'm learning from the clients that I'm working with. I'm learning from life. And I really kind of learned something today, or kind of saw something in a different way I wanted to share. And I think it's really, really helpful to any of us looking to unfold whatever it is, whatever that mystery is that lives at the core of our being, to unfold it. Hi Beulah, good to see you. So what I want to share today is all about this particular tarot card. So I want to show it to you, and then I want to share with you what this message and kind of what I learned about this in a way that hopefully will help you in your own journey. So this is, see if I can see this. This is the Wheel of Fortune. Why can't I get this straight? The Wheel of Fortune. I'm going to talk about this in just a minute. So if you see this wheel, this particular card is an interesting card because, I'm sorry about this, guys. I can't keep this very. So this monkey, this is backwards for you. The monkey, the rabbit, kind of attached to this wheel that goes round and round and round. Seems quite mechanical, has a little handle there. And then this lion up here on top, not spinning around on the wheel, up here on a platform overlooking this whole thing. So we're going to come back to that in a second. So what does that have to do about anything? So if you read in the comments, I forget how I titled this, but I think it was First Things First. So when we're looking at making change in our lives, particularly when we're looking at spiritual change, which what I mean is, when I mean spiritual change, it could mean all kinds of things, but the idea for me is, in essence, for the form, the structure, the way in which my life is lived, who I am, how I'm being, what I'm doing. All of that becomes more and more the outpicturing or the effect of that deepest part of me living through and as me in the world. That's what I mean by spiritual transformation. So it's the process of that ever unfolding process of my fullest, complete, most complete whole self emerging through this body and mind into space and time in my life. So it's also what the Fool's Journey is all about. The Fool's Journey, in essence, being the journey of the Fool in the tarot. Okay, I better not get sidetracked and all that. But the Fool's Journey of the tarot of his or her unfolding into a process of becoming more of who it is that they already are, but don't yet know it. So today in this session, it came up, we were talking about, as I like to call it, two fundamentally different things. Hi, Deborah. Two fundamentally different ways of approaching spiritual transformation. And I would say that this is something that most of us don't think about. I don't know when this dawned on me at some point, but it's like we don't really think about it. But the fact that we're not thinking about it and we're not making this conscious is very much affecting the outcomes in our lives and what we're able to move to and accomplish. So the idea is, are we fundamentally seeing ourselves as this broken, damaged, abused, fragmented person who's trying to discover, find, put the pieces back together, hope you can find the right super glue and all the right pieces, and maybe you'll get back to something that's that's closer to the original, that kind of a thing. And I would say that it's the view that most of us are operating out of most of the time, whether or not we know it. And I would also say that it's the unspoken view of most kind of psychological interventions is this, kind of broken self and doing the best that you can to recover some semblance of normalcy, this kind of thing. Or, on the other hand, is who we are already whole, perfect, and complete, lived through all kinds of things that were traumatic and difficult and horrible, but wasn't affected by it, never touched, never damaged. There's nothing in essence to get over or to undo. And that's fundamentally who we are. So now, let's talk about this for a second, because I need to make clear something about this. So there are certain spiritual belief systems. Well, there's a lot of spiritual belief systems that espouse some version of that, right? So perfect being, well, I guess Christianity kind of blew it in a way. Original sin kind of killed that idea. But some sense of wholeness, of perfection that we are, right? Divine spark of the Creator, etc. What some people do with that is, in essence, I am whole. I'm complete. I have no problems. I'm a child of God. But they leave out of their view, their life's not working. They're miserable most of the time. And, their relationships don't work, whatever it is. So one can espouse that view while ignoring, trying to forget, or trying to overcome one's difficulties in life. So I'm espousing something different, which is and it's how I approach my clients, and I feel like it's how I approach my own process, and I feel like it's what allows kind of a level of magic to happen in a way, is because I fundamentally see and approach person that they are whole, perfect, and complete, which means an undefiled, undamaged, untraumatized, fully formed self exists there in front of me, right there. You now exists. He, she, it is there. And there's a lot of damage, a lot of beliefs about self and other and world and conditioning that was conditioned from childhood, from the world that we live in, that comes in from previous lives, that comes in our genetics, that is there, that make us believe that we are broken. So this might seem semantic, but it's a fundamentally important difference. Because if we approach ourselves and believe ourselves to be fundamentally broken, then we in essence are believing those beliefs that the conditioned mind is giving to us, and we're trying to fight our way out of a situation, seeing ourselves as kind of hobbled and really kind of it's amazing I even got out of bed in the morning. I so don't believe I'm worth anything. Sorry, when I laugh at stuff, I hope that doesn't come across as, it's just we're all dealing with this stuff, all of us in our own ways, and some of us have gotten further than others, but this is the human condition as I see it. So it's like, are we fundamentally seeing ourselves as how did I say that? This was the thing. How did I say that? Do we see ourselves as something broken that needs to be fixed? Or are we seeing ourselves as this beautiful present that needs to be unwrapped? So that's another way of saying those two differences, because in this way I see ourselves as this beautiful present, perfect present that needs to be unwrapped. Unfortunately, that present was wrapped like a million times by our crazy aunt who has the shittiest taste in wrapping paper, and it's been sitting under her bed for like decades, gaining dust and kind of crap, and it looks like hell and it's stinky and smells. That kind of wrapping paper. But underneath there is this beautiful present. It wasn't broken. It wasn't damaged. It isn't a bunch of pieces that need to be fit together, and hopefully they didn't get lost along the way. This is really, really, really important, because as far as I see it, because now coming back to this card, and this is what came out in this reading, which helped me to kind of see this, was this card and the way it's depicted. What I'm going to say is the idea of we're fundamentally broken and need to be fixed is represented by this wheel. Sorry, this is backwards for me, so I may kind of do weird things with my hand. Is this wheel. So the monkey is basically the monkey mind, our mind, that's always telling us, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? Second guessing yourself, blah, blah, blah. It's the mind, the monkey mind that's always just chattering. Sorry, it's backwards. So I'm looking at this. So it's backwards. I mean, the monkey's always chattering, etc. Blah, blah, blah. The way I look at this rabbit is the rabbit's always doing, gotta fix, gotta do, da-da-da, always moving, just moving, going forward. And it could be, in essence, well-intentioned activity, but this well-intentioned activity based on what our mind is telling us, that we're broken and we need to be fixed. And it's amazing that anybody even talks to us because we're so messed up, and all this kind of stuff that the mind does. The crazy, crazy mind does it. The more you can laugh at the craziness that this mechanism tells you all day long, the better you're going to be, because it's really crazy, the stuff that our mind tells us. So, and it just goes and goes and goes. That is the world that happens when we believe we're broken and we got to put the pieces together and we got to fix. And it's got a crank on it, which I realized as I was looking at this card after the reading. I thought, that damn thing has a handle on it. Guess who keeps spinning the handle? We do. We do, right? We keep spinning the handle. And it keeps us stuck in many ways. So we can kind of live in this world, and most of us have been a lot of our lives doing good work, trying to make things better for ourselves. And it gets us somewhere. It gets us somewhere, right? It's not without benefit. But in terms of what's possible for us as human beings, like I think we just have no idea, and I mean this literally, we have no idea what human beings are possible of. No idea. So in that stuck kind of thing, going round and round and round, we're limited in our thinking. So, we're making we're making changes, things are happening, it's okay, but still there's something that's calling to us, which is why you come to something like this by some fool who's over here just, sharing some stuff that hopefully is helpful to you, and that is looking for more. And what I would say is, if you really want to, I was going to say up your game, but I hate those kind of expressions. They work in some ways, but in order to really get on the track of majorly unlocking the possibility of that whole perfect and complete you that's down in there, to begin expressing more and more and more, we got to be sitting up here. So look at that lion up there. So the lion is sitting up there on that platform. That platform doesn't spin. It's up there watching the spin. Gotta do this, gotta do that. You're an idiot. Who are you to think you can do that? Be careful. People think you're crazy. That's monkey. That's monkey. And then the rabbit is, come on, got to keep going, got to keep going. If you're actually gonna get stuff done, you got to do it. You got to do it. There's no room for anything new. There's no room for any. Well, I better be careful. Hide spot here. I think it greatly limits the possibility for major transformation. But up here, if we start sitting up here, we can watch the mechanism of all this. And I like that word mechanism, to think about what our mind is doing all the time. These ideas, these beliefs that it's feeding us, a lot of which we're not conscious of until we start paying attention, that it can watch it. And by the fact that it can watch it, it means it's not being it. We can do this. This is practice. We can do this. Paying attention, watching our mind. He's got the sword in his hand. So I would say this is in essence sort of right thinking, or the ability to kind of say, bullshit, bullshit, that's bullshit, not true. Look at that ridiculous thing that this mechanism is trying to make me believe about myself. And now the thing that came through in this reading that I thought was really phenomenal about this is that it's a lion up there. Courage and heart. It takes courage and heart for us to not just buy into the things that our mind are telling us about ourselves, the things that it's telling us we need to do in order to be I need to be doing this in order to be responsible. I need to do this in order to be successful. Think, do, condition, blah, blah, blah. Don't get out of it. And we're spinning it all the time because we don't know any different most of the time. We just keep there spinning it going because that's what we think we need to do. And we're trying to find our way to living our deepest part of ourselves, but we keep trying to find our way there by spinning the mechanism. I need to think different. I need to do different. I need to do more. I need to make myself stop. It's all of this. We're playing inside the game of this. And when I'm working with people ongoingly, that's a big part of what we're doing, is looking at the very particular ways that you're participating in that game so you can just stop playing, get up here on top, and practice doing that. We can all do that, but oftentimes we need help with this because it's challenging. So, lion, heart, courage. What I would say about courage is it takes courage to stop doing the things that everybody else tells you and you think you should do. It takes courage. It takes courage to say, screw it, I'm not going to play that game anymore. I'm not going to keep trying to fix myself. Oh, that one hurt. That one hurt. We can be so cruel to ourselves in the thinking that we're trying to help ourselves. We don't need to be fixed. There can be a lot of things about one's life. Could be a lot of things about one's life that really don't work for you inside your own assessment of your own life. Forget about everybody else. That really don't work, and you still don't need to be fixed. The issue is not about fixing. The issue has to do with seeing the mechanism that is running us, and we're participating with it because we don't realize it and we don't know any better, and we begin to stop participating in the mechanism. And then that which is whole, perfect, and complete has a chance to kind of come out. When we're not spinning that mechanism, whole, perfect, and complete can kind of come out and say, I'm here. I'm here. And what it means is, what I mean that is like that deeper part of ourselves that we all know and we experience more or less depending on whatever, that can see clearly, that can understand who we are, that can express itself in a way that feels authentic to us, that knows our next right step. Even though this is telling us something different, it knows the next right step. It knows how to lead us through the life that we're living so that we begin to embody more and more the life that we're meant to have. So, takeaway here is to start, first of all, is to think about this. Are you, here's the phrase that came up in the session. I just remembered it. Do you look at yourself as a problem to be solved? Or do you look at yourself as a present to be unwrapped? Because the present to be unwrapped is the place that actually gives you tremendous power. Hopefully that makes sense. I've said this in different ways throughout this bit. Present to be unwrapped, meaning there's no problem here to be solved. I don't need to be fixed. This kind of thing. A lot of things about my life that don't work well yet, that aren't really a reflection of who it is I feel like I really am. But we let that part of us that is who we really are come forward and lead the way. If we're a problem to be solved, then we're basically not allowing that part of us to come forward. I think if I try to make that more clear, I'll get it more confusing. So hopefully that's ringing true and making sense for you guys. So would love to hear what people are thinking about that. Ouch, Nadia, what's the ouch about? Would love to hear any questions you have or comments about that, if that's, or anything that's confusing about that. So the takeaway in terms of ways to practice this, you guys, is to start noticing the ways in which you in your own life, in the very particular way in which your mechanism works. Now, when I say your mechanism, it's what you've called you your whole life, or at least some part of it. The thoughts you're thinking, the things you're telling yourself, the hard time you're giving yourself, almost constantly. To start noticing it. Start noticing what's going on in here. Start noticing when you are making yourself a problem. When you're making yourself a problem means in any way, shape, or form, you're taking the relationship to what's going on in your life like it shouldn't be this way. Ooh. That needs to be a whole video on its own. But it's like, in any way you're looking at some situation in your life and you're thinking it shouldn't be this way. It needs to be different. I must do this. Yeah, that's a whole video on its own. So there's so much to that. But that's meaning there's a problem. My life's a problem. I'm a problem. So it's just to notice these things. Now listen. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I get carried away. I was going to say, listen closely. But what I mean by this is what I'm going to say sounds ridiculously simple, and you're going to want, and you maybe going to think it's not enough or try to move faster than this. But please resist the temptation to do any more than what I'm just going to say right now, which is to just start noticing this. Just start noticing the ways in which your mechanism, meaning what you've called you, I tell myself that all the time. This kind of stuff. We think it's us because it sort of sounds like us if we listen into our brain. But it's the mechanism. Now, why do I say just start with seeing it, noticing it? I'm going to say this one thing and then I'm going to stop. So, which is, now think about this. Just stay with me in terms of the philosophy behind this, because it's not difficult, but it's kind of like, really? There's mechanism, which I've already described before. If you're just coming in and don't know what mechanism is, go back and listen to the replay. And then there's the lion. So mechanism is just saying those things, doing it, not paying attention, not realize you're doing it, thinking it's you, thinking it's real, thinking those judgments, those harsh, the voice of the harsh critic is the way it is, and you're just down there playing on the wheel. You're the monkey and you're the rabbit. You're just stuck to the wheel and you're living your life. As soon as you notice that, and what I like to say is like, even to yourself or even out loud, say, I see you. Oh, there's the mechanism. I see you. As soon as you do that, just doing that, you are no longer here. You are immediately right here. These guys, follow me with the metaphor, because just stay with me on the metaphor. Don't think about yourself for a second. If these guys don't see what they're doing, they're just doing what they're doing. They're just doing what they're doing. The lion sees what they're doing. So as soon as you see what you're telling you, what the mechanism is telling you in your head, first of all, that it's the mechanism, and secondly, that look at what it's saying, is just notice that you're immediately up here. This, I could say in this metaphor, this is what I call your unique genius. This is your true self. This is your authentic self. This is the part of you that sees clearly, the part of you that's whole, perfect, and complete. The part of you that realizes she's not broken. She doesn't have a problem. He doesn't have a problem. So just in doing that, you literally are assuming the position of that part of you that you're so desperately, whether you know it or not, trying to make happen in your life. And you got to start there. We're so trained in gotta do, gotta change, gotta make different, gotta change, gotta fix. Then you're back in problem. So this guy is not worried about changing a damn thing, because he's up here where he sees clearly, he knows what's going on, he can make choices. Even while this thing is spinning around, he's just not down there cranking it and calling it his life. So stop cranking, baby. Stop cranking. And you stop cranking by, I see you. You can't do that. Instead of just believing it, in the instant where there's enough awakeness, where you say, it's like, I see you. I see you. And if you really want to call bullshit on it. Have fun, call bullshit on it. So hopefully this is making sense. I will check the comments real quick, see if there's any questions. Please let me know. And I'm happy to answer questions. But I think that's basically what I wanted to cover. So coming back to the beginning, and I would say really, really play with this idea, like really, really kind of roll it around in your head this weekend, is, do I look at myself as a problem that needs to be solved? Or do I look at myself as a present that needs to be unwrapped? And just to clarify that, in my metaphor, I'm saying that wrapping paper is some of it's pretty damn nasty and ugly and smells. Meaning, when I say I'm a present to be unwrapped, I am not at all pretending that there are things about my life that aren't working the way I want them to. That's what I mean by it. But I'm not buying into who I am. Is that nasty? Is that nasty? Nasty wrapping paper. So hopefully that makes sense. And let me check. Deborah, I never looked at myself this way. I know I just think this is so fun. And this thing of like really asking ourselves, which way do I see myself? It's really an important contemplation, I would say, even to kind of play with ongoingly and just notice it, because, and this, I'll have to come back and do another video on this about some of the stuff I touched on, because it really opens into it can shift your perspective about this stuff. Is that, I know how to think about this. Like if you're talking to a friend or somebody who you're comfortable with, right? And you're sharing with them a difficulty in your life. And somebody who can kind of be there for you, hold the space for you to let you share, and just let you share, right? How that feels for somebody to just really get you. And what I would say is, in essence, also hold in their mind, this person is capable of handling this. If she wants my help and my support, I'm very happy to give it, but she's capable of handling that. Think of what that experience is like. That experience comes from the world of, it's what we can do for ourselves when we see ourselves as a present to be unwrapped. We can be that to ourselves, which is very different than when you're talking to a friend and you're sharing the same story, and they can be very well-meaning. We're very well-meaning when we turn ourselves into a problem. We're very well-meaning about it. But even this very well-meaning friend, as soon as she starts diving in there to sort our problem out and telling us what to do and do this and do that, how does that feel most of the time? Right? So this is in totally well-meaning ways we're doing to ourselves. When we're coming from this very conditioned, unconscious place of making ourselves this problem that's got to be solved. So have fun. Have fun unwrapping your present a little bit this weekend if that's what you choose to do. Yeah, it does feel like he does. I'm gonna share. I love this. My little toy. It's like here's Deborah's. Feels icky. It does. It does feel icky. It can be very well meaning, but we're doing this to ourselves all the time, and we don't realize we don't realize how icky it feels. You will when you start practicing this. You realize, oh, I don't want to do that to myself anymore. So, an announcement. So tomorrow, there'll be an announcement here on the group. If you're on my mailing list, there'll be after I'm done here, I'm going to send it out. Actually, if you guys are not on my mailing list, which I don't send to a lot, but it's a way to get information out to people. Send me your email address through Facebook Messenger, and I'll add you to the mailing list. But we're going to do an event tomorrow night. It's basically an official launch of this group, in which I'm going to be doing some teaching. I'm going to be doing a reading, which I love these cards. If you guys don't have tarot cards, you might kind of look into getting them and playing around with them. I just feel like it opens up worlds in many ways. Be doing a reading, doing some teaching, and just coming together to celebrate the official launch of this group. Please invite your friends to it. It'll be tomorrow. It actually won't be in the group. It'll be on it'll be on my Facebook page, my profile page. So send me your email if you're not on my email list or you're not sure. Send me your email address, please, on Facebook Messenger. I'll get it on that list. So tomorrow it's 10 p.m. my time, so it'll be 11 a.m. Sunday morning Eastern time. 11 a.m. Sunday morning Eastern time. And so if you want to be there, I'd love to have you. It's going to be a celebration, but I'm going to do some teaching and do a reading about a little bit about this year, because this year we got a lot ahead of us this year. We got a lot to do this year, personally and collectively. So come on, let's do it. So sending you much love. I always assume these are going to be shorter, but I end up talking too much. So thank you, everybody, for your participation. Thank you for coming and being a part of this group. And I look forward to continuing the journey. Okay. Bye for now.